I mean, take this advice like a grain of salt. I always like to consolidate in these replay reviews. Purely when you're playing defense, there's a lot of different stages to defense and ways to move the ball up the field. But for you with how you're playing, like, I kind of just want you to simplify and focus getting the ball out with one touch, like a booming clear. Don't really focus on controlling the ball or being mechanical. I just feel like we're almost overthinking some of our challenges and trying to control and play mechanical and play pretty. It's more important to get the ball downfield than it is to control it. That is most applicable in a 3v3 setting. Twos, you definitely want control, but we are in champion. Here's the forehead way to think about it. How do we improve our defense? Let's spend less time on defense. And you could spend less time on defense by simply booming the ball down the field. Thinking back on that kind of like forehead statement, that strategy, like, it's so simple, right? There's nothing crazy about it. Your team moves the ball down the field, right? Field progression greater than ball possession. There's nothing mechanical about this play. They make a mistake, you score. We're having a hard time getting the ball out, but we're also kind of uncomfortable to sit in a defensive rotation too. Like, that's why we missed that challenge right there. It's like, instead of rotating back and playing goal line defense or whatever you want to do, we go for the challenge because we don't want to be on defense. And that actually leads into the goal. I want you to focus on two things, but it's rooted in positioning, and I'll get to that, which you're going to like hate me, but it's important. You see how we're front post? And I'm saying this because we are champion 1, champ 2. You do not have crazy mechanics or ball control yet. So if you had crazy mechanics and ball control, you could play front post and go backboard, play front post and still be able to transition. But what's happening is you're shooting yourself in the foot with your positioning, where we don't have those mechanics yet. We'll get them eventually. So you're left in these uncomfortable situations where if this ball goes here, score. If this ball goes over your head, score. And it's not always leading into a goal, but it's leading into mistakes, which then lead into goals. I really, really want you to focus on back post, preferably with momentum, right? You always want to move. I'm going to take a look at like how our rotations lead into our positioning. Example, see how this rotation is going straight to front post? Just loop and go here. Right, we're kind of shortening this rotation, widen that rotation a bit. Back post, super simple. We could widen rotations to back post to hopefully hit them with momentum. You could even extend for boost to hit that with momentum. You can always play a front post, but let's prioritize the back post. When we are in a good position, it's going to reduce mistakes. But what I want you to focus on for transition, and this is why the positioning leads into transition. Number 1, no mechanics. You're at the back post. This ball goes here. Boom it all the way downfield. Boom it downfield. Force a player to make a mistake and score off their mistake. Number 2, you're playing your back post. You hit the ball through boost, up the sidewall transition. Now, I'm not talking air dribble sidewall transitions, double touches, ceiling shots, anything crazy. Just work on hitting the ball this way, a nice grounder with speed so that you could get boost control and then transition up the sidewall. All the other mechanics will follow suit. Example 1. Again, remember, like, players make mistakes. You score off mistakes. You literally just sit at the back post and the player gives you the ball. Okay? Easy. And then, like, what we're going to work on, hit this ball through boost. If the boost was there, get it up the sidewall. Because what you could even do, okay, the opponent's in front of our face, get the ball up the sidewall, take a 50 on the sidewall versus a 50 on the ground. Good fake. Yeah, very good. This is where it evolves. Like, we're starting with sidewall as a base, back post is the base. Okay, we fake this. Control this through your corner, up the sidewall. So it's not just a hit. It's a control play. It's up the sidewall. Sidewall's your friend instead of a center to the midfield. Right? And we don't get scored on, but this is what leads into mistakes. Okay, we're here. Get to the back post. If you sit at the frickin' back post, they are just going to hand you the ball at the lower ranks. And that's a good pass for example purpose, right? One touch clears. Because what's going to happen? You pass the ball, but remember, field progression greater than ball possession. You pass, which is a possession play, and now you and your team are getting punished for you playing smart and passing. Hope you can like see how these things kind of like weave together. You score off a mistake. If you look at pro play, most goals are from mistakes. So it's all about reducing mistakes. Very good. And I know some of this stuff's pretty basic, man, but a lot of like defensive mistakes at lower ranks result in positioning. So look at it. This would be another good example. We could save it. We're front post, and you have the mechanics to save this. If you're back post, maybe you could turn this into a touch this way into a goal. What happens is like mechanics make up for game sense, where like, let's say there's like let's say back post, use the basic example. It's a fundamental of this game. Well, if you have crazy mechanics, you don't need to play back post. But like the end goal is to have crazy mechanics and crazy fundamentals. Like you need both.